Hello, hello. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Shannon West, and this is the Great American Stampin' Show, one of 4 videos launching on the same day where we are in competition with each other, and you get to pick the winner by voting for the video that you like best. And now we have done several of these videos. It has been almost a year that we have been launching these videos every 2 weeks. But this one is special. I'm pretty darn excited because we have a stamp along that's included with this version of this episode of the Great American Stampin' Show. So if you signed up for the stamp along, yay, so exciting. Grab your packet of stuff, which has been received by now. And we have made it so easy for you to follow along and create these 8 cards with us today. If you didn't sign up, that's all right. You can watch, hear some of the measurements. I'll put the measurements for my cards in the description down below, and you can cut and pause and create at will when you can. Now, I am only creating 2 of the 8 cards here on this video today, and you'll have to visit my 3 teammates, or competitors, some might call them. Julie, Jody, Judy. That's funny. That's Julie and Jody combined, and Brandy. The 4 of us are each demonstrating 2 cards for you, and they are all using my favorite bundle, Earthen textures. I'm excited. I can't wait any longer. Let's start to stamp. Earthen textures, the star of the show today. Oh, I love the stamp set, and it is very, very tragic, but it is retiring, and that's okay. I have loved it well, and will probably keep it forever. And then here are the dies. You can see there are so many amazing dies. You'll get to use all of them, I believe, in this class that we're doing, this class of 8 cards, this stamp along, one might call it. But I'm going to separate out on the ones that I will be using and put the other ones aside to be used later. So what I'm going to do is show you the 2 cards. Here we go. I'll start with this first one. Here is the first one. Ta-da! These are some of my favorite cards that I can remember making. Like, they're just so fun to make. I've said from the beginning with this bundle that it's impossible to make an ugly card. But these are extra special because it's been fun to work with my teammates on this. And we have reimagined how to use earthen textures. A lot of the other cards I made have been with earthy tones, pecan pie, copper clay, all of those colors, a little bit of blue here and there. But this is completely different because of the designer series paper that has been included. Okay, so these are the dies that you're going to need. We're going to do the die cutting first, and then we'll work on the card. So for this one, we'll need these 3 dies. And then this one as well, which is a really awesome die that's just meant to add some texture. So we're going to do that first. Okay, now as far as what you need for the card, you've got your packet of items, and in that you'll have your card base, Pool Party card base, small piece of Blackberry Bliss, and a little piece of white for the greeting. And then you've got your envelope too, of course. So so you can see where all of those pieces go. Now with all the remaining pieces, both of the big fans and these 2 other pieces, you'll need some of the designer series paper. And here are the pieces that you'll need. You'll need these. So on one side, you see all the patterns, but on the other side, these are the solids that we're using. And I think this is so cool too, because by not showing these floral patterns, you're even creating an additional look here. So this one is like a Calypso Coral, Berry Burst, Bubble Bath, and Pool Party. So grab one of each of those, and we're going to do some die cutting. So I'll take these 2 pieces first. I'm going to layer them right on top of each other and put them through with the big fan right here, and try and conserve as much space as possible. So either put it through like that or like that, something like that. And then this fan with the Calypso Coral, and this is my card front. So I'll save that one. Oh, but actually I'm not going to save it because this is the piece that is going to have this texture. Now this one has been cut down already. It's just a card front. So 4 inches by 5 1/4. And that is going to layer perfectly on our pool party card. But we're not going to stick it down like that. You see, we're going to stick it down like this. So it's going to get a little bit of roughing of the edges to bring, I love showing that other side. So just a little bit of a peek through of that side. Okay, so let's see, and then this piece as well. So I'm going to just do these here and leave the camera going so that I can time this right if you're following along. So first we've got the Blackberry Bliss. I'm doing this one on just my small, my mini machine, and then I'll have to get my bigger machine for the other pieces. Unless you want to cut these pieces of designer series paper down, if you want to just stick with your mini machine. But the thing that is tricky is this is 4 inches and that doesn't quite fit in the mini machine. But you could cut that down if you wanted to. These are your cards. You can personalize them however you'd like. Okay, all 3 of my dies are here on my machine, ready to run through. This is the 3rd one here for the card front. And we're going to do this twice. So once here and then once right next to it, just to create some indentions and some interest in the card front. Now, with this piece, I've learned that it's a good idea to use a shim so you can have a stronger impression. I think partly because of the type of die it is, but also because of putting the impression onto the designer series paper, it's a little thinner. So a shim is just another piece of cardstock. You can do it right next to the dies. That's how I'm doing it. So let's see if I can turn this, really getting some resistance. Muscle it through. There we go. Okay, so you can see all 3 pieces going through. There goes the big fan. And then here's my impression with the shim. Just kind of working its way through the machine. Okay, there we go. And now I need to do one more time through with the shim. So let's see how that turned out so far though. We've got this piece. This one sometimes is a little difficult to get out of the paper just because of the design. So just have patience with it and make sure to not tear it as you're removing it. If it sticks, you can run it through the Big Shot one more time. Okay, this one's all done too. Let's see this one. Make sure that got a really nice, good cut as well. And then finally, let's move this one over here. Put it on the other side of the card front. Doesn't have to be perfect on this one because it's kind of a background look. And here we go, last time through. Shaking the table as I do this. So it just can't be helped, I guess. All right, that's finished. And let's see how these impressions turned out. Ooh, those look really cool. Let's see if I can catch the light. You can see those right there. But with this card, we're going to make those stand out even more. All right, next step. Let's rough this one up a little bit. Well, if these are stuck in, you kind of have to poke them to get them out. So make sure to do that and do it gently. This is so dainty. I've torn them as I've been taking them out of the die. So treat it with a little TLC. It's worth it because it looks so beautiful. Look at that. That's so lovely. And then this one, same thing. We're going to pop these pieces out. And because it's designer series paper, it's easy to cut both layers at the same time. Look at that. It's looking perfect. Oh, like I said, impossible to make an ugly card. All right, the next step, we're going to take this piece and I'm going to rough it up a little bit. So each of the corners I'm going to roll forward and let that parakeet party / I don't know, whatever color it is, kind of peek through a little bit. Pretty peacock. So roll up those edges. And then if you like a lot of weathering or roughing, you can take your paper snips and rub it there across the edges there. Just as much as you want. I mean, you could wrinkle this up if you wanted. Up to you. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And our last step on this, we're going to need our blending brush. So you received a blending brush in your kit, and I'm going to be using that for both of the cards today. So this one already has pretty peacock on it. If yours is clean, woo, that's exciting, getting ink on a clean blending brush. we're going to move and do another, we're going to do a darker color in a bit, and that's fine. You can wash these off and wait for them to dry, or sometimes you can just go like this, and you can see there's a little bit of blue coming out, but not very much. A little bit of Pretty Peacock, but not a lot. So if I layered that over with, say, Blackberry Bliss, well, it wouldn't really matter. Okay, I'm going to do this side, because the indentions or the impressions here are a little bit closer to the bottom. It's a good rule of thumb to kind of do over there before you start to use your blending brush, so you don't get like big dots or polka dots on your card. Okay, now the purpose of this is to really make those impressions stand out. So what I'm trying to do is really get some color in there to make those show up. So you can do that however you like. It can be like a, whoops, it can be kind of like a halo like this. Or you can go and put even darker color if you want to. Okay, I'm going to bring in my finished card now and compare it and see how it's looking. It's looking really nice. Oh, except for I just touched that right there. Well, that's funny. Okay. Oh, I've got ink all over my fingernails, but you know what? That doesn't bother me. This is a handmade item. And the way I'm going to get around that is just to maybe fold that up a little bit more to cover that up. There we go. That's fine. Okay, so watch out. Watch about getting ink on your fingernails and transferring it elsewhere. Okay, while I have this ink pad open, I'm going to take my greeting and stamp with gratitude. So I'll grab my stamp, ink it up in Pretty Peacock. There we go. And then last step is just to kind of like cut these off a little bit, like so. Okay, then that one's all ready to go down onto the card. Okay, so then we also need to stamp this image right here, this tall, I don't know, stem of some sort. And I'm going to just put it on this block right here, and same thing, Pretty Peacock. So I really want this to stick out above the top. You could do 2 or 3 of these. I think I'll do 3 this time. I want the stems to kind of land in the middle. So I'm going to do 2 close together here, and then this one over here a little bit further. And the cool thing about this card is when I lay the fans on there in just a minute, they are going to, you can move those around however you like to kind of like show whatever part of those you want. But we're not quite ready to do that yet. The next exciting part, well, let's see. Let's put this down. I'm going to put this down onto my card, and I'm going to use liquid glue for this one, just so that those corners can still stick up, but the middle will be stuck really well. And turn this just a little bit when putting it down onto the card. You know, if you're sending a card in an envelope, it can stick out even further beyond the card. Sometimes I let my card front stick out like that one does, just a little bit. That's a fun way to do it. Okay. Next, where is my Blackberry Bliss ink pad? Oh, this ink pad is crazy. It's so dark. But what I'm going to do is take this fan right here and set it down on the ink. But before I do that, I want to fold these. Now these are kind of fragile too, but they have score lines right through the middle of every single one of these leaves. And so gently fold that in so that it looks like that. And on the other fan, the Berry Burst fan, I'm going to fold it the opposite direction. So this is folding in, and that one will be folding out. Okay, so it sticks back like that. That way it will stick onto the card. But before we stick it down, we're going to pop it this way, actually. And I'm going to lay it down on my Blackberry Bliss. Ah! Okay, and then depending on how juicy your ink pad is, you either will need to push a lot on this or just a little bit. So flip it over and you can see, oh my word, is that cool or what? Oh, and see, it's just all in the die and the design of the fan. I'm going to try to get a little more color on that. So without getting color on my fingers, because I like a nice contrast there. Oh my word. Whoa. That was even more than I was expecting, but I love it. It's perfect. Okay, so I'll pop that back in so it's kind of like concave like this. And this one, I'll fold the opposite direction. Now I have torn these as I've been doing this technique, and that's okay because you can just still stick it down to your card so that it looks like they're connected. It won't be a big deal once you have it stuck down to your card. So far so good. I haven't torn any. That's good luck, but I'm telling you, I've done it a lot. So if that's happened to you, not a big deal. Just stick it down with a dimensional on each side that you tear. Okay, whoop, this one's kind of sneaking away. All right, there you go. How's it going so far? If you're watching once before you create, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think so far. And if you're pausing as you go, tell me that too, so I can see how y'all are doing. A stamp along is just really where it's at when it comes to teaching stamping. So I have been just so excited about this opportunity that we're doing, and we just hope that it's so fun. If it's fun, you know, we probably do it again sometime. Okay, let me make sure that I'm doing this right. Okay, that one can be right there. And I think these stems kind of end up a little bit too long, but I'm going to stick them down first and then I can trim them off. These are good with just one dimensional. So let's see. I think that's fine right there. Yeah, and every card looks a little bit different, and that's totally fine. Okay, now with my liquid glue, I'm going to stick these down, these two other die cut pieces. So kind of decide a good spot for those. So there we go. And that's just sticking onto that one fan so far, but then I'm going to put the greeting across it so it will kind of lock it in, so to speak. And finally, my little Blackberry Bliss. See how all the colors are being pulled together too? So fun. All right. And then this one, I think just kind of like right over that is fine. So I'll put it down like that. Okay, and then finally, where did my greeting go? Uh-oh. Have I lost it? It's probably under here. There we go. With gratitude. So I'm going to put 2 of these so that I can put the stems kind of down the middle between. And there you have it. Oh my word. I love this card. I think with my previous one, I cut those off a little bit, but I like the way they look here where they're kind of all different. So I'm going to leave that. And this card is very like 3D. It's popping right off the card. So there we go. Original and this one. So you can see how it's going. And I really like that fan. I kind of want to push these down a little bit so that I can see that fan a little better. But I don't know. I'm fussing now. Let's move on to card 2. My second card right here, front and center. Okay. Wow, I love this card too. Oh, it's really fun to make. The colors, I think, are really striking. And you'll notice it doesn't have any of the DSP from the delightful floral DSP that you were given. We used so much of that on the last card. I thought this one, maybe we just try and do a card without DSP at all. So that's what we have here. So you can see we're going to need the big fan, the small pot, and this piece again to cut out some beautifully glimmery, pretty peacock, a pretty peacock element. Another thing I love about this card are all of the iridescent rhinestones. The last card didn't have any on it, but you know what? You got a whole pack, so I encourage you to just put those on to your heart's content. Okay, in the packet, we've got our Blackberry Bliss card base. So let's fold that right now and set it aside. Grab a bone folder and crease that edge really well. Isn't it nice to get everything all cut and scored for you? Okay, then we've got a card front and we have a card inside too. Look at that. Oh my word. That is my favorite image in the whole stamp set. Every time I use it, I feel like it's prettier. Okay, so this is going to be the inside of the card. So we'll stamp on that one. This is going to be the card front where we do this really cool dark to light blending with the brush. And then here's, let's see, this is the, okay, so card front. Yep, okay, got all the pieces. So I'll set this out of the way for a minute. Okay, let's do our die cutting first. Same thing, this piece here. This one we need to stamp on first, and then this piece will be die cut right here. So for this one, grab your pool party. This is actually Coastal Cabana, but Pool Party works too. We're just putting a little bit of detail in there. So that's one of the, we use that color because that was being used on some of the other cards, I believe. Hopefully I'm right about that. Otherwise, yeah, just use whatever color you got. Even Versamark would work for this. Okay, so there you see the image. So that one can be die cut out as well. All right, here's my machine. Let's put in the fan, the pot, and that one might be a good idea to use a little piece of washi tape or a Post-it note to keep it still, but I'm gonna just go for it and hope that it stays still. And now I've got all of these ready to go as I put them through. I really love this color scheme. I've been using a lot of blue lately, like more royal blue or starry sky, but now that we are saying goodbye to starry sky, maybe I will be sticking to more greens like this. All right, got my fan. Sometimes I just, if it's stuck in there, sometimes I just, whoops, throw it down. Let's see. And it falls out. Oh, it worked. Violent die thrower over here. This one, however, I've never gotten it to come out, so I always have to poke that with my snips, but that one's ready right there. Okay, grab those snips. And this one is easy to tear if you're not careful, so I try to poke all three of them. Oh, it's amazing. Look at that. It's as if this is the first card I've made, but no. I've made this card many times. It's still fun. Okay, let's see. Let's put those aside for a minute. Next step, I've got my favorite image of a, I don't know, it looks like wheat or, I don't know, straw of some sort. And then I'm just going to stamp it on the inside, but I'm going to do twice. So once like that, and then this time come down a little further, just like that. So that's perfect. That's my insert, and it is all ready to go. But now I'm going to need to wash this off a little bit because now I need to get it ready to do Stamp Once in Blackberry Bliss. So you see it's got that right there in that background piece. So I'm going to do that after I do the blending, but I want to just clean my stamp while I'm at it. So I'll set that aside. All right, time for some blending. This one's all done. We'll stick that on the inside of the card. Okay, so grab your blending brush, and this is one that you can see I've done lots of Blackberry Bliss with it already, so I didn't wash it out. If yours is a different color, you can wash it out, dry it, rub it on your grid paper until the color is mostly gone. What I'm going to do on this one is do dark to light. Now, with one layer, you see how dark that is, and look at compared to this. I wanted to get a lot more color on this. In fact, I might even get to the point where I'm not tapping it to the side. But you don't want to get too fast or too aggressive because it can get really splotchy if you're not careful. So I'm just going to cover over the whole card. The contrast between Blackberry Bliss and white is so much that it's easy to kind of get little splotchies, and that's okay. You can see on this one there are some like that, but you don't want to have big, huge spots because that could take away from your focal point. So now I've gone over everything. I'm going to try to get more of a medium color down towards the center. And my ink pad is not very juicy. It might help to have a re-inked ink pad. So there's just a note if it's getting really hard. I'm having to use a lot of muscle here. Oh my goodness, it's like the end of the day and I'm using my muscles. What's happening? Okay, so you just keep going until you get it to a place where you really like. I like the way that's looking, and if I compare it to this one, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty much there. I'm going to put just a little bit more through the middle, but not too much. You know, this top could be really dark. So, okay, at some point you just got to stop though, because I could keep fussing with that all day. So now we need this piece again and get an idea of where this is going to go. So it would help if I kind of had my pot here and then I can do it up from here like so. Okay, ooh, that wasn't very dark. I'm going to try again and try to get it a lot darker, and I'll just have 2 of them, and I think that'll look nice. It's okay if they're not exactly together. Okay, that might actually be an improvement over the first card. And you know, as you're making yours, you can decide exactly how you want to make it. Now for this fan, I'm going to do a concave fold to all of these leaves. And then you can see here, there's a few different ways to add ink to this. And so it's up to you how you want to do it, or if you want to just leave it plain and not add any ink. But I like to add ink to this piece because it really shows the dimension in there. It's just so cool. All right, I grabbed my Parakeet Party ink pad, and last time we did paper to ink. This time I'm going to do ink to paper. And just kind of like scrape it along like that to add a little bit of color. And I'm just using a very light touch, and you could just add as much as you want, stop when you want, when it gets to a place. Now I'll show my finished card again. You can see all of this is showing, so it's not like any of it will be covered up. So I'm going to just add a little bit more to the center, and that looks really cool. I'm really liking that. I'm sure you're not surprised to hear it, though, with the way I oogle about this bundle. It's so awesome. Okay, so now we're about ready to assemble, but before I do that, I've got to do the greeting. You are proof there is good in the world, and that's going to go right here, so I'm going to just set that there so I have an idea of where to stamp. Fits perfectly right there. Looks amazing. I love this image too, how it has like little dots. It just makes it look cool. It's just cool. Okay, let's assemble this. So fun. Let's see, where are my dimensionals? They're right here. So this piece is going to go on with dimensionals and pop up off the cardstock just a little bit. But the piece on the inside is going to go, I'm not going to use dimensionals on that one because I don't want it to be bumpy to write on. So this one goes right here. And let's see, this one, I'm just going to do my liquid glue and get that to stick down. And then I need a little more liquid glue for my other pieces. See, that could really go in either corner, but I'll leave it up here like it's coming down from the sky. That's a unique way. I haven't seen that image used, so I quite like that. I love the stamped off variation of Pretty Peacock. It's beautiful, beautiful color. Stampin' Up needs to get that color next. All right, let's see. Let's stick this one down with a dimensional. And again, I'm going to try to like just have that hover right here to see where it's going to go. I want that to go right there. So I'm going to need to cut off quite a bit of the stem, and that's fine. Okay, I've already got that. Let's see. That's good right there. I want it to be to the side so that other branch shows. And then this one is last. Let's do the pot first. Vase, pot. There we go. And then this piece can just stick right over here. Now it's going to hit the dimensional in there, so I need to cut it off just a little bit. And then add a little bit of glue to, again, stick that down. I'll just lay that right on top of the big ol' palm leaf. I don't know. I have no idea what any of these elements are called. Okay, that's kind of resisting a little bit, so I have to hold it there for a minute, but it's underneath the pot, so it should stay pretty well. Last but not least, let's get these iridescent rhinestones and put them all over this gorgeous card. Is it weird that I think my own cards are gorgeous? I think everybody should think their cards are gorgeous. So if you don't think that about yours, I suggest you rethink that a little bit and pat yourself on the back a little bit more. Oh, it's too fun to create, to really, you know, after a long day, then you can come in and connect with your creativity and with this amazing product. That's it. That is my demo of my cards. Let me get the other one back out here and take a look at these again. Here's the one that I made. It's a little different from the original. And you know what? This one does, I think, need some gems. So I encourage you to add those there. Okay, that's it. I hope you've seen some good variety in these two cards. And you know what? Even though this is a stamp along, it's still a competition. So vote for mine. If you like these, give me a thumbs up. I haven't won for a long time, and I'm so proud of these. I hope that you like them and you want to vote for them too. Either way, I'll be back in 2 weeks with the next round showing you something else fabulous. So between now and then, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave me a comment and tell me about your experience, and see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.